Okay, we're live.
Hey everybody, welcome to another Hacks Chat interviews. We are with Eric Ninaltowski. I have Taylor Grasso here and myself. I am a 35-year veteran of the comics industry, working mainly Marvel, DC, but I've done, I worked for a little upstart company called Image. I did that for a while, about 10 years or so. And so we are coming to you live from Hack Shack Studios. And this is one of Taylor and I's show where we interview a featured guest. And so, like I said, the featured guest is Eric. So, hey, Eric, how you doing?
Very good. Thank you guys so much for having me. This is awesome. This is a dream come true right here. So thank you.
And hey, Taylor, how you doing?
Hey, Art, and hey, Eric. I'm going to be reading the chat today. We got a couple people in here. We got Ray Thulu. We got Popefire. If you guys have any questions, comments for Art or Eric, I will be here reading your comments. So definitely join the conversation.
Yes. And hey, Eric, have you shouted out on Twitter or anything that you're on the show right now?
I have not, but I will do that.
Yeah, we might be able to get some more people in here.
Do you have a tweet I could share, or should I just write it? Good, do a new one.
Yeah, just this already has a link, right? So you can just link this on your Twitter.
Yeah, if you want to share the video.
Yeah, share it out on your Twitter. Yeah.
All right.
We got a question from Popefire, I guess, before we dive into Eric's new campaign. Popefire wants to know, who's Eric's favorite Titan from Teen Titans?
Oh, gosh.
Say Starfire.
Starfire, of course. She's the hottest character on the team.
All right, Eric, if you had a runner-up Titans character, who would that be?
I'd go with Cyborg. I think he's pretty cool. I would love guns to pop out of my arms.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Yeah, and now apparently he can fly, so that's a bonus as well.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So Eric has an art book, and we're going to be talking about Eric's art book. And he's going to, well, we have a little bit of a sneak peek, too, of a future project that Eric will be working on as well. So he has a book. It's an ash can, right? Is it 32 pages or what is it?
Yep, 32 pages.
Okay.
So 31, one of those will be art, and then there's like, a little, that'll be the preview for Shadow Sentry.
Oh, very cool. So it does have a preview in there. So it's a book based on his Inktober drawings from 2018. And it's ash can size, right? So it's like a half a sheet of 11 by 17. What is that?
So it's like 5.5 by 8.5.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
And it's mainly focusing on 90s heroes, right?
That's correct. Yep.
So you want to fill everybody in on some of the detail here?
Yeah, for sure. So I got into comics around the 90s. And so, right about when X-Men #1 was coming out, when Image was starting, that's when I got really into comics. And so I was buying all the, #1s of the Image books and the Image titles. And, so like Jim Lee and all those guys, I just fell in love with them. I fell in love with the style. And so Art, obviously I knew your stuff from X-Men when you're inking Jim Lee. And then after Black and White came out, I was picking up those books.
Yes.
So yeah, so I mean, that was it for me. And once I started reading those books, it was like I'd always liked art. I always liked drawing, but when I just there was a lot of passion there, and I was just like, I want to do this. Like, so that kind of sparked it for me. And so when I did Inktober 2018, I wanted to focus on all the characters that I loved, and that kind of got me excited about art and wanting to do comics. So I focused on all the 90s characters.
DGeekArt has a question in the chat. This is a good question, I think, for anybody who's maybe not familiar with comic collecting. She asked, I feel so out of the loop. What exactly is an ash can?
Okay, the origin of it. Do you want to answer this, Eric, or do you want me to?
If you know the origin, go for it. I want to hear that.
The origin of an ash can, and the reason it's got like kind of a derogatory name, is because they were make-readies for the comic book. So what publishers or printers would do is they would do make-readies for the comic, and they were called ash cans. So what they were is they were a printer's proof initially. And so the printer's proofs became collector's items. So if you get like a collector's proof of, like one of your favorite comics in the day, then that was worth money. And so then what I think mainly we did it in the Image days is we started issuing, and these were printed just for this purpose. They weren't printers ash cans. They were like mock-ups of an actual ash can. And so then the name just stuck. So instead of like a mini comic or something like that, they just called them ash cans. And the reason they were ash cans is because after you looked at the proof, you just threw them away into the ash can. So that's where the name came from. And so now it's highly sought after and it's very, very collectible. So these ash cans are actually worth some money, especially if you can get some of the, like I said, the older ones, because the older ones, like the original ones, there were probably only a handful of those ever made. So they probably went to like whoever was the president or the publisher, like say Marvel Comics, he would probably get one. The editor or the editor's assistant. So there was probably only a handful of these things that were ever made in the day. And now like Eric's book and also in black and white, we have the original 90s ash can that we made. And then we have a new ash can with a mini story in it as well. So these are kind of like cool little asides, like collector's items that we do now. I guess it's kind of a homage to the old ash cans, if you will.
Yep.
Did you know that, Eric?
I didn't know all that history. No, I didn't. No.
I just schooled you.
Yeah. I know them just from conventions. I'd be going around Artist Alley and all the artists would have their little book, and yeah, so I'd get those because you get all that cool artwork in there.
Yeah, ash cans have come like far from like some of them are like more traditional, like they're printed on like kind of bad paper because that's what the originals were. So that's kind of the more authentic ash can, but probably stuff like what you're doing, Eric, and the stuff we're doing is more high end. The paper's like cardboard stock and it's printed, a lot better than, probably the original ash cans were.
Yeah. Yep. I'm going with the heavy cover stock and then the interior pages, they will be color and they'll be on a nice like glossier paper.
They're going to be color? I thought most of them were the commissions and stuff. They look like they're black and white pen and ink.
They are. About halfway through, I started adding some red. It probably started with when I did the Death Blow image. And, he's got the red streaks on his face. I'm like, I gotta add that. So I did the red streaks. And then as I went along, I just started adding red wherever I thought it would kind of make the picture pop.
I see that. I see the Savage Dragon now with the blood on his arm and his fist. Yeah.
We got a super chat from F Google. Thank you. And he says more boobs.
Is he talking to us, Taylor, or is he talking to Eric?
I mean, I don't really know what we can provide. There definitely there's boobs in our book for sure, but it looks like there's probably a few in this book as well.
Yeah, you'll probably see a couple, right, Eric?
That's right. There are female characters, and females do have boobs, so you will see boobs.
Wow, that was a great way to get out of that, Eric. Females do have them, so there are female characters in the book.
Happy Women's Day. Women's Day.
Yeah, Happy Women's Day.
But Catelyn Fairchild right there in the middle from Gen 13. She's she's got her Gen 13 classic uniform on, so
yeah. So they're there on display. Yeah.
I mean, Savage Dragon has them too, but they're like pecs, so
He's got they call them moobs. He's got those moobs.
It's a cool piece.
You never know what you're going to hear on these things. I always say, Eric, tangents are the things that make life worth living, because it's like you have your day-to-day, like get from A to B, but then the tangents are kind of the fun part where you just go off the trail. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. And so that was one of them. The moves. We just went off the beaten trail. So you put this up. Was it February 14th? Is that right?
Correct. Yep. I went with Valentine's Day because we love comics and thought it would be a good day to launch the book.
Very cool. So you're almost a month into this, right?
Yep. So almost halfway there, and we're about almost halfway to the $4,000 goal.
Yes, so you're 44% at this point. Like you said, what are you, 7, 8, 9, 10? So you're a little over 200, is that right? Away from your 50%,
Yes.
your 2,000. And Eric's got 38 days left, which seems like a long time, but these things move like crazy. Like the time is going to blow by in no time. So don't wait. Make sure you get in early. Do you have any limited tiers? What do you have as far as your tiers? Do you want to go over those?
Sure. The limited ones. Let's see. So the featured one is the Originalist, which I only have 31 of. But when they get the book and they come in at that perk, they're actually getting a piece of original art from INKtober. So in the little image there, you can see all the INKtober pieces. But you're getting one of the original pieces of art, and you get to pick which one you like. And so in the description and the details, I give you a list of all the characters that are in there. And if you have a favorite, you can just I'll email you afterwards, and you can tell me which one you want, and you can get it.
Okay, you sold one. Which one?
That one was Batman.
Gen 13, right? Is the Gen 13?
No, he went with Batman.
Oh, very good. That's awesome.
Yep. So I did like a
Batman in there.
What's that?
I don't see a Batman in the image.
No.
How did he know there was a Batman?
He may have known from when I posted a lot of these on Instagram when I was doing them for INKtober last year. So yeah.
And so those are not just original pieces of artwork, but they're also pages in the book, right?
Correct. Yep.
What are the sizes of the originals?
The originals are, it's an excellent question. Let me see how I did them at a smaller size, and I had them in like a spiral bound sketchbook to make it easy for me to keep them together. But they're 5x7.
Okay. And they're on sketchbook paper, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And on Instagram, that's where the INKtober kind of hashtag originated, right? So your followers on Instagram probably knew about this first, I assume.
Yeah. Yep. I started posting them back in October of last year. And so a lot of the images are in there. But then halfway through, I'm like, you know what? I want to do a book of this. And then, my plan was the last 10 images I want to do of my characters. So the last 10 are the Shadow Sentry characters. And so I kind of stopped posting a little bit after that because I wanted there to be a little bit of a surprise and people to be like, "Ooh, I want to get the rest of the images." So they can get a sneak peek on Instagram of a lot of them, and then when you do get the book, you'll be surprised to see what else is in there.
Well, when you guys go to the Instagram page, there's a lot of artwork, wonderful artwork displayed there as well. You're very generous with the previews here, Eric.
Thanks.
Yeah. So then what else do you have? So you have that's the original art tier, and that's limited, you guys, to 31. So there's only 30 left, so you guys got to get on that.
And then the very last one is very limited. I only have 2 of those. That's the collector. And I did a perk where you can get every single book that I've had published. And the 2 big ones are the Hand of the Morning Star, which when I met Mike, I started interning with Alias Comics back in the day, and they had just started publishing this book called Hand of the Morning Star. And it's kind of like a manga style book where really simplified. And Mike Miller did the first 2 volumes, and then I took over on volumes 3 through 8. And they're 150 pages each. So they're like 2 enormous tomes, and it's like over 1,000 pages with both of them.
Well, they're like a traditional like trade paperback kind of.
Yep, soft cover, super thick. Yep. So each book has 4 volumes in it, and then also you're getting all the other stuff. So you get INKtober. You're gonna get like 2 different art books, and then I worked on a Samson comic as well as Monomyth, and all the details on those books are in there. But and then also on top of that, I'm throwing in an original piece of art. Character of your choice, and I'll do it in the same style and detail as the INKtober images.
Wow.
So say if you want to get, a drawing of Starfire, you could get that with this tier.
Or your favorite 90s character, black or white.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Okay, so what intrigues me is you have, it looks like a slightly oversized, maybe magazine size. Is that your previous art book there?
Yes, the one with Captain America, and it's orange. Yeah, so that's like a bigger, I think that's 8.5 by 11, and it's 45 pages of black and white images. And it kind of goes through like, from sketch and preliminary stuff all the way to finalized ink drawings. So you kind of get a look at everything, and you know, it's cool because I got to design the whole book. So I threw like everything in there I possibly could. All the images that I did that I was like, oh, I like that one. And, it might've been something from high school, but I was like, oh, I like that one. And I threw that one in there, and, I give descriptions and quotes, and it's a fun book.
So there's a lot of prelim drawings that got you to the final stage or the final drawing, and process drawings like that.
Right. Correct. Yep.
I love that stuff. We have a couple in ours, but I would love to actually put more. I think, eventually maybe just, Taylor, what do you think? A process book, like where we just have the process?
I think that'd be really cool. And I think people like to see that. I know that's something that I would definitely be interested in, just as like from a fan perspective. I think that'd be very cool.
Especially somebody like me, I have a process. Like I admire people that can just go right to the board and just draw, but I usually have a process. So I have a sloppy thumbnail. Sometimes I'll come in with a marker and tighten it up. Sometimes I'll go to the light box and tighten it up. But there's usually 3 or 4 drawings that lead into the final drawing. And that's my process. So I would probably have a lot of drawings to share.
That'd be cool.
A bit of that in Oodles as well.
So Eric, are you a right to the board guy, or do you do a lot of prelim drawings?
It all depends on what I'm doing. If I'm doing like comic pages, then I'm doing a lot of preliminary stuff. If I'm just sketching, I'll probably just do it on one piece of paper and then erase if I don't like it. But yeah, so I have like a bunch of pages, like 8.5 by 11 of like comic layouts and stuff. And then I'll have like the finalized drawing.
Yeah, I've been really fortunate. I've met a lot of cool people in my 35 years, and I have Gil Kane process drawings from Hawk and Dove and his Marvel team up covers that he did. So he laid things out 11 by 17 and then would light box them. So he would pencil them in, and then he, like a Bic marker, like a ballpoint, and then he would just go over with a ballpoint and tighten them up. So I have some of those, and then I have some of John Buscema, like Fantastic Four prelims, and even some Conan, Savage Sword Conan stuff. And he would lay out on 11 by 17 sheets as well. And then he would go to the light box. It's just amazing to think, like, as fast as those guys were, they still had that kind of process. You know what I mean? Where they laid out the pages, and then they would light box to tighten them up. And Gil Kane's, his layouts are just, for somebody like me, I could ink them right from the layouts. Buscema stuff is still really sketchy. That guy just, it's all gestural. So there's not, it's there, but it's not complete. You know what I mean? Like it comes in and out of just this gestural state. You can tell who the characters are and everything, but it's, that stuff to me is art unto itself, just to see those pages. So yeah, maybe we should do a process. I'm talking myself into doing a process book.
Well, I was thinking too, we should do a video, like a layout special, where you show some of those layouts and how you do layouts and kind of explain to people how they work. Because I think a lot of people don't actually understand how in depth some people go versus how little some people do.
Hey, Eric, would you indulge us for a moment? Can we go to a camera? I can show them a layout that I'm working on right now. So
please,
people who are listening an idea of what they look like.
All right. So if you guys don't know what a layout is, this camera looks super zoomed in for some reason. I'm going to zoom it out a tad.
Okay. Here we go.
However, if you guys have been watching some of our stuff, you'll have an idea.
That's good.
What we're talking about here. Okay.
Move this light a little. It's glaring on the artwork. But yeah, these are what Eric and I do usually. I mean, various forms of completion or tightness. But these are.
That's 8.5 by 11, right?
Yeah. This is like a normal sheet. Yeah, small sheet of paper. So then I would basically pencil this in. Like here's a rough of the figure. You can see it right here. This hasn't been inked yet. So then I'll rough it in like basically this panel here, and then I'll come in and tighten things up with the ink. And I think the reason I do that is I'm more instinctive when I have a pen or a marker or some kind of ink tool in my hand. That makes sense. So then I actually commit to a decision better than I do with a pencil. So like a pencil, I'm still erasing, sketching all the time. But when I ink, I'm actually like, I'm razor sharp. And so I almost instinctively will make the right decision with a pen versus a pencil. You know what I mean? So
totally.
Yeah, I just come in and actually just make the decisions with the marker. These are all marker, but my actual board stuff is all pen and ink, actual dip pen and stuff. So yeah, so this is kind of the layouts. And here's...
May I mention again, Art is the only person I've ever seen put line weights on a layout. It's so finished in comparison to anyone's you'll see.
You guys, like this one right here, she bags on me because this guy actually has line weight. I think on a thread, right? A live thread.
That looks
I couldn't
more...
let it go, so I kept coming in there and like thickening up the line.
That looks more finished than a lot of ours I've seen finished artwork.
Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, so these are layouts here. So this was my initial layout here. And so what I'm doing is I'm going to add this figure, and she's going to be here. And so then I'm reworking this figure here with this version that I'm going to plug in here. So sometimes what I'll do, I don't know, Eric, if you do this, but like I have this scanned in the computer. And so what I'll do is if I don't like the figure or something like that, I'll draw it like I did here. And then I'll ink this up, and I'll scan in the computer. And then I'll put it into this composition. And what I'll do is all this stuff, you guys, it's going to be blue lined. I'm not going to redraw like all these things that you guys saw. I'm going to blue line them, and I'm going to tighten them up a little bit with inks like costumes and stuff. And then I'm just going to, ink right over the board. So this stuff will be blue lined. And then this is kind of a rough idea over the panel that existed. And so this is the rough pencils here. So just in case you guys didn't really know what layouts are in the process, that's part of it right there. So so Eric, when you do comic book, like your storytelling panel to panel, is it more or less kind of all broken down like that, and then you lightbox it up?
It's very much like that. Yep. The only thing I do different is instead of lightboxing it, I will print it out. I'll blow it up and print it out on 11x17 in blue line. And then, so I'll ink right on that.
Okay. Do you sometimes like tighten up the pencils from the blue lines, or do you just finish it up with the inks?
If I have to, yeah. Because sometimes, I'll realize, oh, I need to kind of finalize that a little bit more before I go to ink. But yeah, I try to do as much as I can in that early stage. But, sometimes it doesn't work out that way. But
we got a couple questions. James, I'm truly disappointed in you because he says, I want a drawing of White in her undies, but he didn't say tidy whities.
Oh, man. That's a joke. That's why you get paid the big bucks, Taylor.
And let's see. We got Dynamo wants to know, I don't know which one of you he's referring to. He says, tag, so he redraws the same page twice? ?
I'll gesture it out in pencils, and then I'll ink it up to tighten it. And then what I'll do is like what Eric was saying, I'll blue line that layout that you guys saw a minute ago, and then I'll either like tighten them up, like because you saw the costumes weren't complete, and there's light sources and stuff that weren't on those layouts. So what I'll do is, and once it's tight like that, right, Eric, the structure's there, your composition's there. It doesn't take much to indicate like rendering or light sources. So I'll just rough those in real quick, and along with the costume details, and then I'll just ink right over them.
And James says, Art is a really legendary inker, and it shows in all that he does.
Yeah,
legendary. That you know what that means? It means I'm old. That's what you say. That's what you say when people are old. You go, he's legendary. But thank you, I appreciate it. So, what else are the highlights on your Indiegogo here? So we have the what are those? Limited tiers. So then what's all the in between here?
Another limited one would be the sketch cover variant right there, where the cover is going to come blank, and then again, character of your choice. I'll do a headshot on the sketch cover, or on the Ashcan, the Inktober Ashcan, and then yeah. So I'm only going to do 50 of those just for time's sake, but I got 6 of those claimed already.
That's awesome.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so that's a good perk. And then some of the other ones, what I've done is I wanted to give people a chance to get some work that I've previously had published. So there's, like I mentioned, the Samson comic, which is a 2-volume comic. I only worked on the second one. And then there's Monomyth. So those are limited because I'm only offering what I have on hand, and so I don't have to print it. So it's ready to go as soon as the campaign's over. I could ship it right out. So the nice thing about this whole campaign is it's going to be very fast. You're going to get the stuff pretty much right away, unless it's something I have to draw.
Is that this one with the coloring book tier? Is that the one you're talking about now?
Monomyth, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a 3-issue series I did with Awesome Comics, OSSM. And Seek Donnelly was the writer, and it's kind of a cool concept where Adam and Eve haven't eaten the apple, and so therefore the human race is perfect. And instead of Lucifer falling from heaven, it's Michael. So they switch the roles, and Lucifer is actually the female angel that you see there behind Enoch, and she's the heroine of the story. And since the human race is still perfect, they kind of are able to wield their spirits in a way, almost like a Green Lantern, and they're able to make objects, move objects, things like that. And so Enoch is one of the first of the humans to kind of make a weapon. And so it's a cool little series.
He forges it out of what then? Like out of his imagination, his mind?
Out of his mind. So it's kind of like light that you're projecting from your spirit. And no one ever has made a weapon before because, being perfect, not having any inkling to fight, etc. They're astounded when this kid makes a weapon. And so, but lo and behold, here comes Michael with his demon horde ready to destroy Eden. And so he kind of helps lead the fight with Lucifer's help against him. And you can't quite see it, but in the white drawing in the background, that's a 3-headed Cerberus, and Michael is riding it on the back cover.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I can see parts of the heads. Is it a wraparound? Is that?
It is. Yep.
Okay, so on the back is Michael riding it? Oh, very cool.
Yep. And so that's a trade paperback as well. It collects the 3 issues, and then the issues were actually 30 pages. So the book is almost it's over 100 pages collected, but as far as the story and the art go, I think it's like 96 pages. So
these are great deals.
Yeah. And, I wanted to offer something that's, less expensive. I didn't want to compete with the comics that people are putting out. I want to offer something smaller, cheaper, and just kind of get people pumped for, what I'm going to be doing later on this year. And I want to get people, familiar with my characters who I've created and this whole story of the Shadow Century. So it's an art book, but it's also to promote and to get the Shadow Century out in front of people.
So you have 3 art books out then. You have this color one as well, right?
Yeah, so the little one back there with Lion-O, that is an Ashcan as well. That's a full color Ashcan. And so that's one that I've done previously, but I haven't done an Indiegogo or anything for it.
Okay, so then this is the only place they can get it?
Well, if I sell out here, yes. I do have it on my website currently, but if I sell out for the Indiegogo campaign, then I'll be gone. I'll have no more inventory.
Well, just to put pressure on anybody who might want to pick this up, how many do you have left?
I think I have 12.
Ooh.
Well, actually, no, 11. I take it back. I gave one to Doom CMYK in Hawaii at the last con I just did there a few weeks ago.
Oh my gosh. Well, then you guys got to get on this. This is very limited. So when he says 3 out of 10, that's not hyperbole. That's pretty much it. Yeah. So do you, not to get too personal, but do you live here in California? Because I saw an SD hat that you had on.
I do. Yep. I'm from California. I'm from San Diego. I live 15 minutes from Mike Miller.
That's what I was thinking. I was getting a Mike vibe from you.
Yeah.
So you published with Alias as well?
No. So my wife is from California. I'm from New Jersey, and we met in Boston. And then, we got engaged and everything. And I decided to move to California after we got married. And so we moved to La Mesa, and Alias Comics was their publishing, studio was like right there in La Mesa. So literally blocks away from where we were living. And so I went over there and met Mike for the very first time and showed him my work, and that's kind of how that relationship got kicked off. But I mean, yeah, Alias Comics was like literally, blocks away from my place where I was living. I didn't get published with them. I was still kind of in the phase where I was still learning and still kind of wet behind the ears. And so Mike kind of really took me under his wing and helped me kind of perfect my art. So the Hand of the Morning Star series, that was my first published work. And
very cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of work, but it was great. And so it helped me. And because it was more of a manga book, I didn't have to do all that cross hatching and worry about shading and lighting so much. It really helped me focus on, just the structure and just working on getting everything, looking proper before I moved on to all the other stuff.
Composition, storytelling, yeah.
Yeah, layouts and all that.
Go ahead, Taylor.
Oh, people in the Dynamo is bullying Mike in the chat and says, RT Bear, can Eric confirm or deny that Mike was wearing 6-inch platform shoes when he went to see Captain Marvel, so that Mike would appear to be the same height?
He was standing in the foreground and I was in the background, so he was not wearing platforms. It was just a trick of the camera.
And Popefire wants to know if you will save he says Eric will shave off his soul patch at 5K. Is that true?
This is true. I need to put it down in the description, but she talked me into it, so I will shave my soul patch.
So who talked you into it?
Popefire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So then your next is the 2 art books, right?
Let's see. So from the top down, it goes, like the Ashcan.
I think we're kind of going reverse order.
We are.
Yeah.
But it's all good. Oh, okay. I see. Yeah. So the Art of Eric Ninaltowski Volume 1, that's the bigger 8.5 by 11 book, black and white. And then you get a copy of the Ashcan, the INKtober 2018.
Pretty good deal. And then the Samson Volume 1 and 2.
Correct.
With the art book. Wow, that's a deal. $30 and you get 3 books. You get two stories. How many pages are the Samson?
I think they're like 30 pages each. So
Holy moly, that's 60 pages plus the art book, which is 30. That's 90 pages, over 90 pages of entertainment for $30. That's a deal.
And if you guys make it when this campaign makes it to 4K, you said you will sign everything before it ships. So if you guys order this, everything will come signed.
Yes,
that's correct. Yeah.
So let's get on that. And I read in the chat, in the Comicsgate chat, that you're going on the auction tonight.
Yes. Is it Friday already? Oh my gosh, my days are so mixed up.
I hear you, brother. I hear you, man. And is it? Am I speaking out of turn? But is your piece going to be up for charity?
That's correct. So another friend of Mike's and mine, his wife just went into the hospital, just out of the blue. She had a brain aneurysm, and so she's in the hospital. She's going to be there for 2 weeks or more. And so he's self-employed. He does conventions like me and Mike do. He travels around, and so he's really relying on his income. So with his wife in the hospital, he's going to be by her side and could really use some help. So they do have a GoFundMe, and I'm gonna put up a piece, a Wolverine 11 by 17 original, and whatever I make for that, I'll just give it to him for his GoFundMe.
Hey Eric, can you give us? Can you send it through my Twitter?
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure.
The link to that GoFundMe, we will post that in the description.
Yeah, so if there's anybody who wants to help out a fellow comic book artist, that's the thing about this. We're usually, month to month, paycheck to paycheck. And so any kind of downtime for a comic book artist, writer, can really take a toll on them, especially if there's a health problem or something like that. So,
and he's actually not even an artist. He's a fan, really. And he got into doing the convention selling Boss Logic's artwork and John Gallagher. And he used to sell my work as well as Gary Shipman. But he's just a fan. He wanted to make some extra money. And so he started doing conventions. And yeah, so
even more so he needs help.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll put that in the description once you send it over to us. And so for anybody who doesn't know, Mike Miller on his Blacklist universe has an auction show where a lot of the CGers put up their work that a lot of times when I post things, these aren't accessible. Like I don't have them up on my site and stuff like that. So they're usually one of a kind pieces of artwork that most people don't have access to, that Mike and then Edwin does the bartering or the auctioneer stuff, and we just have a great time. And these one of a kind pieces of artwork go to the highest bidder. So it's a lot of fun. I'm going to have to skip out tonight because I got a lot of work to do. But Eric's going to be on there. Do you know who else? Elliot's going to be on there, of course. Mike,
Gary Shipman. I think Matt Weldon might be in there.
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, I saw Bigfoot Bill. I saw
Doug TeNapel,
yeah, I saw Doug in there,
and Andrew Huerta. He has a pretty cool Street Fighter 4 picture in there too.
Ooh.
Yeah, very cool. So it starts 6 California time, right?
Correct. Yeah, I thought it was 7, but Mike pushed it back to 6 so we can give our East Coast friends more time.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys check that out. That's on the Blacklist universe. That's Mike Miller's channel, and it's a lot of fun. And you're usually on Mike's other show that's Wednesday night, which is the Drawn and Quartered, right?
Correct. Yeah, I try to get on there as much as I can, but unfortunately, I have another engagement. We do our church Bible study on Wednesday nights, so I try and, that's my main priority. So if we don't have a study, then I'll hop on Mike's Drawn and Quartered show.
So the last one that you were on was the Captain Marvel, right?
No, I didn't get to do that one.
Wait a minute. I thought I saw a Captain Marvel piece that Kyle.
Oh, Shazam. Yeah. Sorry. I was thinking.
Shazam. Oh, no, not. Yeah. You know what? I'm so sorry. I'm so old school. I still call Shazam Captain Marvel.
Women's Day.
I know.
How dare you?
I dropped the ball.
And because the very last one they did was the Monica Rambeau.
Everything up.
Captain Marvel. So it threw me off.
Monica was last week, right? Or earlier this week.
This week. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm talking about Shazam. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a cool one. Zachary Levi reposted the pic from Edwin's tweet, so that was pretty cool.
Oh, that's awesome. Was it the black and white version, or was it Kyle's colored up version?
It was the color version.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so his colors made it look better.
I don't know about that. Your stuff is pretty amazing. It really is like you just kind of ripped it from the 90s. It's really unique seeing something that feels I don't know. It's weird for me to say retro, but like a pretty cool homage to that time. Is most of your work kind of drawn in that style?
It is, yeah. As much as Mike tries me to get away from that style, I can't help myself.
I was thinking that about these line weights specifically are very 90s.
Mm-hmm. A lot of thicks and thins and the broken line and yeah, some of that stuff. Yeah. And I can see kind of, the Jim Lee and Mark Silvestri and some of that, Marvel 90s stuff and early Image stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to do kind of like a homage, and I wanted to, even the story, I want it to be kind of reminiscent of like the 90s stuff and very dynamic and big splash pages and stuff like that. Just, I mean, because that's what I kind of grew up with and that's what I got in, like, that's what I love. So I want to do that kind of stuff. And, yeah, you got to do what you love.
Oh yeah, definitely. I try to make sure I do that every day.
Yeah.
There's part of my job I don't like, and I'm wearing many hats these days. So the businessman hat I don't really like, so I procrastinate putting that one on every day. But the artist and the creative hat, I love that. Yeah, I love wearing that one. So do you want to talk a little bit about, if I'm not mistaken, you're kind of putting the art book out there as a way to generate some money, so you can do Shadow Sentry. Is that
correct?
Right?
Yep. Yeah. So, I'm working on a project right now full time. And so there's going to be an in-between stage when I'm just working on Shadow Sentry. So this money that I raise here will help me kind of offset that time period where it's like I'm not working for someone else, not kind of generating any income, and it'll help me just start doing the Shadow Sentry. Otherwise, you know how it is. It's like you need to earn money, and so you're always constantly working for someone else. Unless you have so much money, you could just do whatever you want. But that's not me, or probably not you. So we have to, raise money and be able to kind of create our own stuff on the side.
Definitely. So, obviously you're working on the Shadow Sentry stuff now, right?
I haven't worked on pages. Right now I'm working on, I want to start doing finalized images of the characters, and, I'm working on the story, getting that finalized. And then, so when I'm done this current project, I'll just start doing pages. And then, I want to get maybe, 8 to 10 pages done. And then I'll start another Indiegogo campaign just for the Shadow Sentry comic. And then that'll fund, the first full volume, 48 pages or so.
Okay. So this is really, really early on in the stages then of this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You have a story finalized yet. That's pretty interesting. So people are definitely going to get to see the progression of this new book happen before their eyes, right? So you're going to be posting stuff on your YouTube channel and Instagram and all those?
Exactly, yeah. So I'll start doing a bunch of live streams, and then once people can if they go to Facebook, go to Shadow Sentry Comic, and that'll kind of be like the hub where I'll post a lot of the preliminary images. And the cool thing about Facebook, it's more of like a timeline, so you can kind of scroll and kind of see, as I post all the characters, I'm going to do, standalones of each character, full color and stuff, where they can kind of get introduced to each of the characters and things like that.
Oh, very good. Very good. So you guys should, so the best place is the Facebook site as of now, right?
Right. For just the Shadow Sentry. Yeah. They can go there.
So check that out. And then where else they should keep checking your YouTube as well, because you're going to be, I imagine you're going to be drawing these and showing the progression of this live on your channel, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so check that out as well. I do like what is this is YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah. You have the kind of Jim Lee wraparound cover homage here.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Banner. Yeah, it's cool.
When I see you at Comic Revolution, I'll show you that. It's a pretty cool pic.
Is it like a fold out kind of thing, or is it one illustration?
I did it as 2 separate illustrations, but I do have one image. It's like 10 by 30, where it's like a nice, cool panorama with that whole image on it.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see that. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
So if you guys like our channel and you like watching us build Black and White from the ground up, you should subscribe to Eric's channel, Divine Fire Studios, and watch him build Shadow Sentry from the ground up here.
Yeah, do you want to talk about the concept, or is it a little too early to talk about the Shadow Sentry concept?
Yeah, I can tell you a little bit about it. It's kind of like an X-Men meets the Matrix kind of story. So these guys, they're not getting their powers from, freak accidents or scientific things gone wrong. Basically, they have these near-death experiences, and when they travel into the, like the eternal realm, and they come back, they have these supernatural powers where they're able to, break the laws that govern the world around us. So it's more of a supernatural book. And so you have these guys would be the highborn, because they've gone to the farthest heights. And then you also have the guys who've gone to the farthest depths, and they're coming back from hell with these crazy powers. So they're the hellborn. And so there's one image there. It says has the highborn and the hellborn. So, and yeah, that's all I'll say for now.
Black and white images. Those are 3 of the characters from Shadow Sentry?
Correct. Yep. We have the angel there. That's the Angel Vangelion. Ganon, one of my favorite characters. He's got the guns. He's one of the Shadow Sentry core team that hasn't had that near-death experience, and so he doesn't have any supernatural powers, but he's got his homemade guns, and he's more of the military guy. And then we have Deacon on the very right. He is the elite military team tasked with hunting down these new crazy people that are showing up in the streets. So
these are 3 of the good guys.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
And are these pieces in the sketchbook?
These are all going to be in the Inktober 2018 Ashcan. Yep.
Ooh. Yeah. Coming events.
Pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah, very cool. So these are all the books that you have here. So 3 art books, my gosh.
And those I did for the conventions and stuff that I do. I started doing conventions probably 6 years ago or so. Mike obviously got me into it, so but it's been a great supplement, income supplement, drawing and stuff. I don't have a big name. I don't do a lot of haven't done any mainstream books yet. I do all indie work, so you don't quite make as much money doing indie stuff, but doing the conventions helps with that.
Well, if you're open for a future project, we might have something for you here.
That would be cool. Oh, and speaking of which, so back in the early 2000s, I emailed Hack Shack Studios, and I remember sending in Chrono Mechanics like pencils, and it was like right when I got out of college, and I knew I wanted to do comics, and so I'm like looking around, and I'm just trying to do my best to kind of get my foot out there. And I remember in my sketchbook, I still have them. I'll have to track them down and show you sometime, but I have the pictures I did of the Chrono Mechanics. So.
Oh my gosh, I would love to see those. Did I get back to you? I hope I got back to you.
You did, yeah.
Oh, thank you. I try so hard. I have a story, and I learned a lesson from an ex-roommate of mine, and he was a writer on the TV show The Flash, not the current one, but the older one.
Okay.
And so he was a writer on that show, and the Wachowski brothers, before The Matrix, they tried to get a hold of him. I'm not going to name names because I don't want to.
Do it.
No.
Not even for a super chat?
Not even for a super chat, maybe. But I'm not shaving my soul patch. That's for damn sure. But yeah, so he tells me, he's like, yeah, these Wachowski brothers, they called me, and I was like, are you going to get back to him? And he's like, I'm very, very busy and blah, blah, blah. And I always remember this story because I'm like, because that's a pretty, last names stick with you. And there were 2 of them. And then I was like, these are those Matrix guys. And so then I call my friend. I go, were those the same Wachowskis? And he's like, yeah. And I said, did you ever get back to me? He said, no. And so now, he's kind of like, scrambling for work. And those guys are the Wachowski brothers,
Yeah.
And that's why I always try to get back to whoever. Like, it doesn't matter who they are, because you just never know, right?
Yeah.
One, it's a polite thing to do, and it's a nice thing to do. But the other is it can benefit you down the line.
Yeah. No, I remember you did get back to me, and I can't remember quite what happened, but I mean, honestly, I wasn't at a point, I think, in my career. I mean, I hadn't even really been published yet. So I if I did anything for you, that would have been cool. But, it wasn't like, it probably wouldn't have been that great if I did something for you. I didn't know what the heck I was doing at that point. So you got saved probably.
Well, Eric, just know I still don't know what I'm doing half the time. I feel sometimes like every day I wake up, I'm reinventing the wheel.
Yeah. Well, here I am. I'm like, I've been a fan of your guys' for so long, and like here I'm in Drawn and Quartered with you, drawing next to you. It's like, what? Like, this isn't real. I don't believe it yet.
Yeah, that's the best part about this community, because I think there's enough old guard and enough new coming in. So there is like mentorships, and there is kind of where we each help each other along the way. And I really like this. Like I've said this a million times. I've been doing this for a long time, and working in comics, and I've never seen this level of generosity where people are so willing to share their platforms with each other, and that there's this understanding that if I do well, Eric does well. If Eric does well, I do well. Taylor does well. You know what I mean? Like we all kind of are interconnected, but there is a little bit of competition, but also in a way that we do understand that united, there's a stronger voice. You know what I mean? United, we can build something together. And it's, I was there in the early Image days, and as soon as those guys got any kind of success, they couldn't get far enough away from each other. And I don't see that happening here. At least I don't project it happening anytime soon.
Yeah, the community is really really strong.
Yes.
feel the
Remember, Eric, when you're big and successful, you know, and I'm really, really old and decrepit, that you're going to take care of me.
I will.
Throw me a bone or two.
For sure.
Yeah.
You could do some covers for me and stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of the community, James wants to know how much, and Eric, I'm going to ask this to you too. How much would it take to get Art and Eric to dye his soul patch pink?
If this is a valid question, type in if you're serious, and then we'll actually give you serious answers. Other than that, I don't think it's worth Eric and I's time.
Yeah.
Unless there's some real legitimacy here, like maybe a small super chat just to show your sincerity.
This isn't a game.
This is not a game. This is real life, man.
We got to walk around with that pink soul patch, man.
You got to go to church Sunday with that thing.
Right.
At least until you reach the tier where you can shave it off.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Shaving it off is different, though.
Yeah, but he would have to like crank those numbers out right before Sunday.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
You would have to fund in 2 days. You'd have to dye the thing, and then you'd have to shave it, you know, hours before you went to church Sunday.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're stuck with it.
It can be done. All right, you guys, let's start buying some books. Eric's gonna dye his soul patch.
This is an affordable sketchbook too, because you can get the base book for
$15.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So and then 2 of them for $25, right? So you save $5.
Mm-hmm.
Get yourself a bundle.
Volume.
It's Women's Day. You got to celebrate. Go out there and buy yourself a sketchbook, and maybe get the bundle just to save yourself the most money.
And for the most part, I think Eric does love women. So
I do. Voodoo is in there from the Wildcats. Catelyn Fairchild. Who else? There's going to be 2 women from the Shadow Century in there, Glare and Hopscotch. So, yeah.
Ooh, I like Glare.
I like the name Hopscotch.
Yeah, she's one of the villains. She kind of has like this schoolgirl outfit on, and she draws, you know, like kind of like the portal with her finger, and she hops through it and that kind of thing. So Hopscotch.
It's kind of like Hopscotch. Does she have one of those markers? Remember in Hopscotch, didn't you have like a marker and you would throw it to the square you wanted to jump into?
Yeah, that's true. I totally forgot about that.
A little totem or something. Because then also you can market the totem.
Ooh. Can I steal that, or are you going to trademark it?
Go ahead. The first one's free. All right. So then, okay, since that happened, you have to tell me what Glare's powers are.
So Glare, she's in the image of the full team, the Shadow Sentry. So she is able to project light from her body, and so that's one part of it. But also, in doing so, she's able to kind of like reach into your mind a little bit and kind of read your thoughts, maybe mingle around in there a little bit if she wants to. So her power is, you know, light and things like that.
Is she the blonde in the foreground?
Yes.
Image? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
That's a cool name.
Yeah.
I like the color of her outfit. It's kind of white.
It is.
I'm a little partial to women dressed in white.
And I'll give you a little sneak peek of a scene in the book where it's the team's kind of like first fight scene, and they're kind of on a rescue mission. Well, so the bad guys are driving in a car down the road, and just all of a sudden you just see this huge blast of light, and she's, you know, projecting, and it's kind of like the sun reflecting off ice. If you've ever seen that, it's just like you can't really look at it. So she's able to get really bright.
Oh, blind.
She does that and Brazen, the guy with the sword, hops on the hood of the car, slices through the windshield, and then rips off the hood while Deke kind of swoops in and grabs the kid out of the back seat. And then their rescue mission is complete. And then they just, you know, you see this big team shot with them all standing there. Gannon has his guns ready, and they're just like, "Come on, do you really want to fight?" and so
then they back down because they know. Oh, they know.
They just know.
They've been outclassed.
They're the little henchmen who wouldn't stand a chance. So they do the smart move.
Yeah. I knew if we got you talking long enough, Eric, you'd give us some more sneak peeks.
Yep.
It's hard not to, right? As a creative person, you just want to share everything.
Yeah. Yep. And I constantly tell myself, I'm like, I want there to be surprises in the book. So I don't want to give away too much, but I'm like that guy. Tell me if you're that person where it's like you see the trailers and after the first one, you don't want to see anymore. Cause then it's like, oh yeah, I've just seen like the whole movie in 2 minutes. So I don't want to go into the movie or the comic thinking I've seen it all. I want to be surprised.
Yeah. Okay. So I won't push you anymore then.
All
Because I know I can get you talking more about it if I wanted to. It's hard though, like right? It's your baby, and you just want to share it with the world.
Totally. Yeah.
We almost.
So if you buy Inktober 2018, you'll get a sneak peek of all the core characters. There's 10 characters that you'll get in the book, so that'll get you excited about it.
Do you have a tentative release date for the new book?
Probably towards the end of the year. It all kind of hinges on when I finish this current project that I'm on. It's a 6-issue series. I have 4 done, 4.5 done. So once I finish that, shouldn't take too long. So I'm going to say maybe November, maybe earlier, give or take. And when I do launch the Indiegogo for the Shadow Century, I want to have like 8 to 10 pages already finalized and that I could show people.
Okay, the mystery story you're working on, that's a Mike Miller project, isn't it?
No, it's not actually. It's just a guy who's self-funding. He's in film and production, and so he wanted to kind of get his creation into a comic format so he can give it to people in the film industry and get it published and stuff. So he's self-financing, but I signed an NDA and I can't say anything on all that good stuff.
It's Doug. Free-handed Doug. Doug pays top dollar.
No, it's nobody in the Comicsgate industry, in the Comicsgate crew. Unfortunately, that would have been cool, but someone else got me first.
Oh, okay, but we're gonna get you second then. After Shadow Century.
All right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that at all.
Very good. Well, do you have anything else you'd like to add? Anything you'd like to plug?
Man, I think we covered everything, but please just go to the Indiegogo page and read through it and see if you like it. I would love it if you guys could support it. That'd be awesome. And again, it's an art book, but it has a bigger purpose, which is to get this comic Shadow Century rolling. So if that sounds interesting to you, please back it and help me get that into production.
Let's refresh and see where you're at. And don't forget, you guys, you don't want to pass up International Women's Day without a gift. So you should come here and get a copy of INKtober.
Yes, because he does draw the super ladies as well. He's not sexist, just favoring all the guys.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric, by the way, okay, Taylor and I were talking about this earlier. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Your commissions, you draw way more women than you do guys, right?
Actually, I don't. Now that I think about it.
Seriously?
Yeah, I think I get way more guys. I just did a Hulk Thanos commission. The one before that was Green Lantern. Jessica Cruz was in there, but it was more of a Green Lantern piece. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Then this is not unanimous yet. We got to still keep asking.
Yeah, I don't know. He's the first person though that's I think has said that.
Yeah, everybody I've asked that question and Taylor's asked so far, it's all the ladies. Like we get way more lady commissions, lady heroes than male. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, and it might be because so a lot of the commissions I'll get at conventions and stuff, and so behind me is my huge backdrop, and maybe just they see more men, and so it's like, oh, he's really good at drawing the men, and so maybe they just commission me to do the men more. I don't know.
I don't know. Your ladies are pretty good too, though.
Yeah. I don't know what it is.
I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you.
So there's Zealot in there.
Yeah. So tonight you're going to go on the auction, and you're going to auction your piece off for a friend to try to help them out with their medical costs and keep them afloat. So that's very, very cool. We can add that after we're done here, right, Taylor?
Yeah, we will add that link to the description after the video has aired. I just, and also if you guys want to check out this campaign, the link is in the description right now. So go ahead and check that out.
Yeah, so it's Eric's Inktober 2018, and if you guys don't know about Inktober, just type it in, man. It's a fun month for inkers, and it's Eric Ninaltowski, and it's a 32-page art book in an ashcan format, and it's mainly black and white artwork, but there's on some of the pieces there's dashes of color, little splashes here and there, and then there's also very cool. There is a sneak peek of his upcoming project in the back, and that's called Shadow Sentry. So it's a great package, you guys. You should check it out and back this book because he's almost halfway. And at 4K, he will be signing everything. So you can get Eric to sign all your artwork, your books, your ash cans, gosh, there's 3 art books in this. Wow, there's 3 art books in this campaign, you guys. This is amazing. So yeah, go out, support Eric. He's a good guy, and he does great work. And so, do you have any cons? You're going to do Comic-Con Revolution, you said, right?
I am. Yep, I'll be at WonderCon at the end of this month. Will you be at that one, Art?
Yeah, I haven't finalized my table. I think since I came in late, Sam's a friend, and he puts the Artist Alley together, but he couldn't really, since this last moment, he couldn't really get me in a good place. So I'll probably be back with the arts and crafts.
Hey, I got a dealer's table, so maybe you'll be closer to me than, but we'll see. But I'm definitely doing the Comic Revolution in Ontario.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I'll definitely see you there because that's a smaller show, so I can kind of mingle a little bit more. It's a little easier to get around.
Yeah, Mike's going to be there, and I think Kyung Lee had said that he's going to be there as well. Awesome. So I'm not sure if Andrew is going to be there because he's also a local SoCal guy. So cool. He might be there as well. So, and of course Taylor's going to be there. We're going to be shilling books, as they say.
Awesome.
And shaking babies and
kissing
hands. I'll kiss a few booties if I have to. It depends on what's on the table. And and maybe we can all go out to dinner. Maybe we'll do some live streaming at the dinner.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
That'd be fun. All right, you guys. Eric's a great guy. Go back his book and tell him Art sent you.
Please do.
Yeah. So, do you got anything? Parting shots of wisdom? Anything?
Man, now they put me on the spot. No, but
I got one.
All right.
You can subscribe to Eric on Divine Fire Studios on YouTube here.
Yes.
So check that.
Yes, give him a sub, and while you're at it, if you haven't subbed our channel, please sub that as well. So, Taylor, you want to?
Yeah, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Go out and support Inktober 2019 by Eric Ninaltowski. And if you like other black and white artwork, go ahead and support Black and White. That's our book. It's Art's 90s classic remastered into a whole new book on Indiegogo. And you can go ahead. Let's refresh and see where we're at here. Let's see. We are almost at 56. We are extremely close. You could be the one. You could be the one that helps us hit.
What is 56. That? 37. Is that $37?
I believe so.
$37 away from 56K.
That's about one book sale.
Yeah, let's sell a book, you guys. So please check out our Black and White campaign. Taylor is the writer extraordinaire and my partner on just about every venture these days. So we're working on this this Black and White, and in the meantime, kind of like Eric, we have an art book that's for sale, and that's going to help keep the lights on here at Hack Shack Studios to give us time to complete Black and White. So thanks to everybody that supported not only our book, but Eric's as well. And Eric is going to be auctioning off a piece for charity tonight at 6 o'clock California time on Blacklist Universe channel, YouTube channel. And we're going to be working our butts off tonight trying to get some more Black and White done.
Cool. You're doing a lot of signing right now, right? Is that what you're doing?
Signing?
Are you signing all the... I saw a picture on the update you just posted. Are you signing all the Oodles and Doodles books or no?
Yeah, my wife put all those out. So yeah, each one of the Oodles. Oh my gosh. Okay, Pamela, you got to describe this. My wife just walked in. Eric, Pamela, Eric.
Hi, Eric.
Hi, Pamela.
Over your face, like a little kid.
I was hungry. Don't you judge me.
This smells good. So what is this?
It's a cinnamon roll from Costco.
Oh my God.
Oh, Costco. All right. So this is perfect timing. So we're going to reward ourselves, Eric, for our hard work here.
Do it.
Here, I give it one.
He's a SoCal guy, and he's got an art book. He's got a brilliant art book coming out. Yeah.
Ooh, awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see it.
So we're helping Eric get some books in people's hands.
Yay.
So
Thank you.
talking about your pictures that you took of me signing the books and packing. You want to give people an update real quick of what you just did?
I just came back from the post office sending out a bunch of books. Yeah, signed and numbered. Oodles of Doodles and other stuff too.
Yeah, so the books are going out. The good thing about the art book is it's done, so we can start shipping that out now. So yeah, so I think Eric was mentioning or referencing, we just put an update on the Indiegogo site, and it has me signing some of the books and Pamela packing them up and stuff like that. So anybody that's bought some of the Oodles books, they are starting to go out now. So look forward to those in your mailbox. And Taylor's already eating.
Yeah, I'm holding some on my fork right now.
Well, it's warm. You have to eat a cinnamon roll
when it's warm. So thanks Pamela for chiming in and giving us that update. And
Thanks for making me hungry.
Well, come on over.
Yeah, he's in San Diego, so it'll be a little bit of a drive, but it's not, it is doable.
That is.
Yeah, it is doable. So thanks again, Eric, for coming in and sharing your book with us. We really appreciate it. It's a brilliant book. It's fun. It's almost kind of like going back in time. It's a little bit of a time machine. So if you guys are big fans of 90s artwork and 90s heroes, pick that book up. And I think Taylor and I need to get to work after we eat our cinnamon roll.
Awesome.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. Thanks, Eric, for coming in, and make sure to support Black and White, and make sure to support INKtober 2018.
Yes.
Thank you. Yep.